everybody, Orphan here. Welcome back to AI, the Somnium Files. Last time we went inside Boss's head, and we found that she seemed to know stuff about previous murders of people murdering each other, then getting murdered. So, like, Renju killed Soko, then Iris killed Renju, then So killed Iris, and then Boss killed So. At least that's what it seems in the Somnium. We'll see what she has to say about it.
And I discovered something. Something about the new Cyclops serial killings. Apart from Ota, there are 4 victims. Shoko Nadami, Renju Okiura, Iris Sagan, and So Sejima. Who was responsible for these murders? Shoko was stabbed by Renju with an ice pick. Renju was strangled to death by Iris. So cut open Iris's body.
Yeah, this is what we learned last time.
So it was you. In other words, all of these murders were committed by different people. There wasn't just one killer. That's how it looks on the surface, anyway. But that's not the truth, is it? There's only one culprit. One person. And that person is... Yes, you. The person in front of me right now.
Oh boy.
You're blaming the commander of Abyss for this?
No, not Boss. The person inside Boss's head.
Figured that
Can you
much
at
out.
least try to make sense?
Right, you could switch
Alright,
memory
I'll
stuff.
explain. You know about the abandoned chemical plant in Kawasaki?
Right. I'm
There's a
aware.
prototype sync machine there.
We're aware.
You use that device to swap around bodies one by one.
Right, because we know that they can do that.
In other words, the entire egg ends up being
It's
replaced.
crazy.
Mind, consciousness, memory, they are traded. Switched.
I don't know where it started, but at some point, you got into Shoko's brain. Then, you got into Renju's,
And you kill everyone that you switched with.
and got rid of Shoko's body. After Renju was Iris. You strangled Renju using Iris. After that, into So, who you used to kill Iris and Ota at the cold storage warehouse. Now, you're in Boss's body, inside her head.
Using the sync machine in the abandoned factory. Alright, that
I
makes
see.
sense.
If you know that much, then I have nothing left to hide.
Who the hell are you?
Yes, I am the culprit behind the new Cyclops serial killings. I guess you can call me the new Cyclops killer.
Who are you? Who the hell are you?
Saito. Saito Sejima.
Of course!
Congressman Sejima's son.
What?
I researched Saito thoroughly.
That goes against my
I cannot
theory.
find any images of him on the internet.
I wonder.
He is listed on the family register, but I cannot find any photographs.
That's so weird. Her eyes look dark, cloud and dark. Give me details of each
Before I
crime.
do, there's something I want to hear from you. How did you know about the prototype sync machine? And not only that, you also seem to know what the sync machine is truly capable of. Why is that?
That's...
Regaining your memories, are you? Human memory is fractal. If you retain even a single piece of it, it's possible to recreate the whole thing.
Oh boy.
Pieces of memories are like roots that grow into every corner of the
There's a
brain.
twist cycle's going around its brains.
Slowly taking its time. I imagine the same thing is happening in your brain right now.
A fractal is a figure with self-similarity. Allow me to explain. See this? Whichever fragment you cut, you will see a similar shape. The whole is made up of its similar parts.
Okay.
This is called a fractal figure. Memories in the brain are similar. That is what he is explaining. He is claiming that from a few pieces, you can rebuild the memory.
I knew about the prototype for gaining my memory. Is that right? That's not it.
Parallel worlds exist.
Yeah. Who was inside Iris during the interrogation Sunday?
That was me.
You imitate her well. From the way you talked and your body language, it was like the real Iris. Earlier, too. You almost had me fooled. Your imitation of Boss was perfect.
Yes, there's a reason for that. Let me define some terms first. A person's memory and sense of self. Let's call that personality. It isn't quite the right word, but it'll suffice. Now, transferring that personality into someone else's brain, let's call that parasitism.
We know.
The one
Yeah.
transferring is the parasite.
You.
The one being transferred into is the host.
Boss.
Are you with me so far? Moving on. Even after the personality exchange is complete, the host's memory isn't completely lost. About 1% remains in the brain. So, a parasite could use that 1% to imitate the language and behavior of the host. That's how I knew about the warehouse and Sunfish Pocket, by the way. Thanks to Renju and Iris's remaining memories. I'm telling you, it was me. Why are you making me repeat myself?
Just to be clear.
That means the Somnium I entered on Sunday.
That's right. It was me.
How? How does he know about the original Cyclops killer? Something else is troubling me.
What's going on here?
Continue.
Fine. I still have time.
Time.
You'll see.
Only be
So,
in the subject's brain.
Where do you want me to start?
Right. Just past midnight on Tuesday. Shoko was killed on Friday. If you think that's day 1, today is day 5. What was Saito doing these days? Tried to ask him. Day 1 Friday.
Like you guessed, my personality was in Shoko, Renju's ex-wife. That made calling Renju easy. I need to talk to you about something. He came over without question. I think it was around 4 p.m. I had him meet me at the chemical plant. I made Renju go to sleep. Synced, switched personalities, and then stabbed Shoko's discarded body with an ice pick. I took Shoko to Bloom Park by car, using the old abandoned subway line.
We figured that out also with this. Yeah.
Must have been around 8 p.m. by the time I was finished. I tied up Shoko to one of the merry-go-round horses. After that, I used Renju's phone to send a Nile message to Mizuki. Then, I just waited for Mizuki to arrive.
Day 2 Saturday.
Until next Saturday evening, my personality was inside Renju. My next target was Iris. I knew she would be suspicious if I asked her to come to Kawasaki, so I asked her to come to Sunfish Pocket first. I called her a little before 5 p.m., and she arrived just after 6. I greeted her, then convinced her to come with me. That's when Ota saw us. Anyway, I put her in the car. then
Someone's
headed to
got
the chemical
contempt in their voice for
plant.
Oda.
I made her take a sleeping pill. I knew she might run once she saw where we were going. It was around 7 p.m. when I got there, and I wasted no time switching bodies.
Okay.
After getting Iris's body, I used a rolled-up apron to strangle Renju to death. Then I put his body in an empty oil drum I had prepared earlier. I put that in the trunk of the car, then headed to Sunfish Pocket. But then, something I didn't anticipate happened.
The watch.
Waiting for the signal in Akiba, someone knocked on the window of the car. It was
Oda.
Ota. He asked me something about being able to drive. He was surprised, to say the least. I didn't have time to waste on him. But I couldn't risk him finding the oil drum in the trunk. Plus, if word got around that Renji's car was spotted driving around Akiba, that would foil my plans. So, I came up with a lie. I told him that I didn't have a license, so he had to keep it a secret. That's what that thing referred to in Ota's Nile messages, by the way.
No
And
license.
just like that, I managed to escape a bad situation and headed to Sunfish Pocket as planned. The rest went exactly as you already figured out.
With the drone and the hanging and the yeah, got that. Sunday. Moving
Sunday
on.
morning, I had a recording or some such thing scheduled. Oh, I am, of course, referring to Iris. I didn't want to draw suspicions. I decided to attend, as planned. I went to Lemniscate and performed my job. And when I left, I ran into you, Dante. To be honest, I was a little surprised. Just the previous night, I was a parasite in the body of Renju. I didn't think Ota had seen me. So, of course, I didn't expect to see you there so soon. You were on to me, but there was nothing I could do about that. If I ran, it would only increase your suspicion. So I decided to play my role. The interrogation began around 8:20 p.m., is that right?
Yeah.
Then you synced into my mind. But you didn't get what you were looking for, did you? As a result, you had no choice but to release me. I didn't want to go home right away. I knew there might be police waiting for me. That would make it difficult to sneak out at night. And that would put my plan in jeopardy. So I asked you to take me to Marble. I tried to find an opportunity to run, but then another unexpected event occurred. I got a Nile message from Ota. I knew I could use him. So I told him I needed his help and to meet me at Marble.
And he used him. Great.
He did as I instructed him to do. After that, I got into the van with Ota. But because his presence was unnecessary, I asked him to stop at a convenience store to buy me something to drink. When he was gone, I took his car and drove to my parents' house where I used to live.
So's house.
Yes, the Sejima residence. Of course, I knew I couldn't just walk up and ring the doorbell. Hello, Father, it's been a long time. I was also in Iris's body at the time. But I
Well,
thought I could use that to my advantage. So I pushed on the intercom and sure enough, my dad invited me inside. I told him this. I want you to come with me. There's something I need to show you. He was quiet for a while, but eventually agreed and got into the van with me.
Maybe he was thinking about... there's his mother, no, she died.
We arrived at the prototype sync machine around 11:50 p.m. By the time I was in the body of Sosajima, it was a new day.
Continue.
This was yesterday, early Monday morning, past midnight. In my new body, I drugged Iris, put her in the van, and drove to a new location. Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse. I arrived around 1, then prepared for the show for a couple hours. Of course, when I say show, I mean dismembering Iris. Because of the temperature in the warehouse, it took longer than I expected to prepare, but... well, you saw it in the video. Of course, I didn't anticipate Ota would show up. What does that make it? 3 times that Bratz showed up on the
And he hates that, bro. He hates Oda.
That annoyed me to no end, and I took that out on him. Dressing him up in the polar bear was an impromptu plan on my part. I didn't mean to make you think he was the killer. I just wanted to throw a wrench into the investigation. Didn't matter if you found out or not. This all happened Monday morning. I left the warehouse around 3:30 a.m.
Okay, and then what happened on day 4?
There isn't much to talk about on Monday. Before noon, I used my old man's body to call this one Boss. You might not know this, but she and my father go back about 6 years.
We know! We went to number 89's. To 89's Somnium.
It was enough to get the boss to come running to me immediately.
Right, we know that for number 89's
I injected her
Somnium.
with a sedative, then brought her body to the chemical plant. I synced with her, exchanged our bodies. And after blowing my father's brains out, I cut his body into pieces.
And you put it inside the vase at his house?
I stuffed the meat
Yep.
into a vase I brought earlier, then drove back to my house.
Yep. Saito spoke with grace and no sign of remorse. I was trying to keep my anger from boiling and kept asking questions. Oh my god. Why did you display the bodies the way you did? Jeez, don't look at me like that.
To harass you. I wanted to bring out the hatred in you. That's why I called Mizuki to Bloom Park. That's why I streamed Iris's murder. Because they were important to you, weren't they? I
Well,
wanted you to feel
fuck
cornered,
you too.
trapped. I wanted to punish you, Kaname Date.
Why do you take out the victim's eyes?
You know all about the prototype sync machine, don't you? That should explain it.
Right, I knew. Prototype sync machine differed from the one at Abyss in a few ways. The machine at Abyss is more sophisticated. The machine turns sync gear through the gap between the eyeball and socket, and travel down the optic nerve canal to the brain. However, prototype sync machine isn't so advanced. To perform a sync, you need to remove the left eye, manually. The subject and the syncer have to remove their eye from the socket. Otherwise, the cables cannot enter the brain. Of course, even with the eye removed, setting the connection to the brain isn't necessary. The second eyeball still has optic nerve and blood vessels connected. After a sync, the eye is supposed to be replaced back in the socket. It's supposed to be safe. Side effects are rare. Unless the nerve or the blood vessels are damaged somehow, replacing the eyeball isn't too difficult. This is what happened at the end of Iris's route.
Of course, I don't really care about eyes. I don't need them. All I cared about was exchanging bodies with the sink. And for that, I needed to remove the left eye.
Why didn't you just put the eyes back when you were done?
That's obvious. Once I was finished transferring into a new body, the old one was of no concern to me.
So you just
Why would I bother
dumped it.
replacing the eye? I was just going to get rid of it anyway.
Where are the eyeballs that you removed?
Shoko's is in Renju.
Right, we found...
Renju's is in Iris. Iris's is in Dad. Dad's is in Boss.
gross.
Their stomachs, I mean.
You sick bastard.
Yes, I ate them. Immediately after exchanging personalities.
How horrible.
Ah, the prototype sync machine has a special feature. It administers a strong dose of sedatives to the original body, and a stimulant to the host after a sync. That kept them docile. Homicide is my hobby. I have a tenacity for it, what can I say? Of course,
The
it was
fuck?
also necessary to make sure people kept their mouths shut. If I took over someone's body, they would know about my crimes. I couldn't risk them reporting me, so I killed them. It was also a matter of revenge. Against you. It's personal. That's why I chose people close to you as targets. Well, except for my father, of course. That was personal to me. But don't ask. It's embarrassing.
It's about Iris's mom.
This series of murders was like a journey for me. You know, traveling with your bodies to finally reach the end. That's the thing about traveling. You always wind up in the same place, don't you? Where do you think that is? Your home. A trip is only complete once you return home.
Oh, jeez.
The same goes for me. When I return home, my travels will come to an end.
I know what you mean.
So I'll be needing it back. My body.
What?
You stole my body. You took it from me 6 years ago. That's why I want revenge.
What are you talking about?
You have no idea what it was like inside my own head. I miss it. I miss my brain, Date. No matter how many people I killed, it never
Jeez.
worked. I never felt happy. I feel miserable.
You mean...
That's why his eyeball's gone. Because he had to use the old sing
He
machine.
was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Right.
Oh, that's right. My old body. How are you finding it, Date?
This body is yours. I figured that
What
out.
I've been telling you!
But I don't have the same oxytocin deficiency you did.
That is because I regularly supplement it. They must have increased your dosage too much.
That's what she was talking about. Oh, this time. Oh.
No, but... The person who had this disorder was number 89. The original Cyclops killer.
Oh.
That is what I believed as well. But we must have misunderstood. Pewter did not specify who exactly was imprisoned. Only that
Right.
one of the original culprits responsible was currently in prison.
One of the original. Great.
That's strange. That would mean number 89 is the previous chairman, Rohan.
That must be it. Rohan is a parasite inside number 89's brain.
Oh, weird.
The computer must have known that.
No way.
I was confused. I didn't understand any of it.
Let us
my
determine the
brain's...
specifics using Saito as our starting point.
Yes, please summarize. Oh, my...
Whose brain was he in before Boss?
Okay.
So Sejima.
Yes.
And before So?
Iris.
Iris. And before that, Renju.
Renju, yep.
And before that, Shoko.
Shoko. So who was he in before? Shoko.
And before Shoko?
Whose body were you in before
I was a
Shoko?
parasite inside Rohan's brain 6 years ago until last year. I'd lost most of my memories. I was a shell of a man. They housed me in a special hospital, but I still had those fragments of my mind left, just as I explained earlier. From a single piece, you can recreate the whole. I took my time, slowly regaining my memories. 1 year ago, I remembered everything. I left the hospital and immediately sought out Shoko Midami. I got her body, and she was in Rohan's. When she saw herself in the mirror, she lost her mind. She was confused, panicking, running up the emergency staircase, and then...
Oh, that's what they said by he committed suicide. Oh.
That's why Rohan committed suicide.
After that, I spent a year perfecting my plan, using Shoko's body. I spied on you all this time. That's why I know everything about you.
Who were you before Rohan?
In there, in that body you are operating right now, in that skull, my personality lived there.
Wait, hold on. If what you're saying is true, what about my personality?
It was in Rohan.
I'm not Rohan!
Correct. It is just as he explained earlier. Number 89 was in Rohan's body. In other words...
That's... my
Oh. Yeah, piece together everything. Oh my god.
Sorry, but time's up. I want my body back. It's quite simple. Sync with me and stay inside my mind for more than 6 minutes.
And if I refuse?
I know that you won't. I know it.
Huh?
Date, look! This is streaming live!
Okay.
Damn you!
If you give me back my body, I will give you the location. Oh, of course, it isn't the chemical plant in the Kawasaki district.
Iba, where's the source?
It is being routed through numerous IPs. I cannot identify the source.
Computer, contact headquarters, now!
Got it!
Now, what will you do? Will you agree to my request?
One moment. One moment there.
Dante!
I knew you wouldn't refuse. I know you well, don't I, Dottie?
Oh, I'm gonna sync with you alright, but what I'm gonna do once I'm in there is up to me. Or they did it off screen. Or they did it off screen, I didn't get to do shit! God damn it, game.
I did it. I did it. I'm back. I got it all back.
Hey, where's Hitomi?
All right. I'll tell you as promised. Boss's house. However, it might be too late by now.
What?
Oh, for God's sakes!
Why?
Return my body and I'll tell you the location. That's what I said. I didn't lie. I kept my promise.
You bastard!
You're the one who injured that body. It's your own fault, really.
Damn it.
Be seeing you.
Iba, pop out of his eye! Thank you. Thank you, Iba. Thank you, Iba. I needed that. I needed that, Iba.
Dante, are you alright?
Iba's voice barely resonated. My eyesight was hazy, a heap of broken images. Sweat was building on my palms. I felt like my throat was closing up and I was struggling for breath. Me was rushing blood and my heartbeat was the only sound.
Everyone's dead.
Shoko, Renju, Iris, Hitomi. Me, boss. Flesh remains and mind is lost.
I couldn't do anything. Saito had me right where he wanted me. Nothing. Nothing.
Parallel worlds exist.
The words suddenly echoed in my mind. Couldn't remember who or where or why, but I thought that if there really was such a world, me in that world, I is another.
Could I have had a better future?
I prayed that I could. I felt my confidence sink into a black abyss. Oh my god, we learned everything! We connected every goddamn dot! Oh my god. And it makes an annihilation route end. And it makes sense! Oh my god. Yes, I would like to save again, even though I just did. Alright, I need to look at the flowchart. Annihilation route in. We learned, like, everything. One more has been unlocked. Day 6 Wednesday. But that's it for now. That's going to be it for now. We learned everything. We have gone through everything. Yeah. But we're not done yet. We got one more to go. In the next part, we will be doing Day 6 Wednesday. We will be going and doing Day 6 Wednesday and finishing up that route. In fact, there's a good chance it might be the last route, the last part of the route of the game. We might, the next part might be the end of the game. I don't know for certain, but it might be the end of the game. So yeah, that's what it could be. But that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next part, which could potentially be the last. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. Everything makes sense now. It's connected in my head. I'll see you guys then. I hope you have a good day.